Dental Fuel, the podcast that focuses on what no one else is talking about: mistakes. The dental world is full of before and afters, and no one is talking about the middle. Dental Fuel brings you the unspoken in between. Welcome back to another episode of Dental Fuel. This episode of Dental Fuel is brought to you by Well Received. Did you know 69% of patients say they would switch providers for a better experience? To level up your practice, you need to ensure your patient experience is better than your competitors. So where do you start? From the very first hello. Well Received is a 24/7 answering service for dental practices. Their team of professional receptionists are on hand 24/7 to support your callers. That's day and night, 365 days a year. Set your practice apart by guaranteeing your patients' calls are answered quickly and by a real person every single time. Ready to level up your patient experience? As a Dental Fuel listener, you can enjoy an exclusive 50% off your first 3 months of service. Head to wellreceived.com/IgniteDDS to get started. Dr. Guelff has shared a wealth of knowledge and a ton of pearls along the way. In this last episode, he provides some expert advice that I think that we will all appreciate. You've shared so much knowledge and wisdom during our conversation. If you could give some more expert advice, I know you've given a lot of advice and thoughts, but if you could give some expert advice to our listeners, what would that advice be?
So I'll take a couple plays out of the Dr. G playbook here. Okay. How about a few words of advice with 29 years experience for some of the new doctors that are just graduating. Okay. Or maybe even some doctors that have been in practice for a while. I think the first thing is play the long game. Okay. I think all too often that we want things right away, and we have to be willing to enjoy the journey, the journey that we're going on. And so I would say play the long game. Okay. And I also, when we graduate from dental school or orthodontic school, you know the basics, but you got to improve on your skills. So I call it starting at the shallow end of the pool. Okay. And so you got to learn how to tread water like heck before you start swimming and backstroking and doing all the fancy strokes. Right. So, and one of the ways that I did that is, if there's a procedure that I wanted to learn how to do a little better, do it at lunchtime. Try to pick a lunchtime, have one of your assistants with you and do that procedure. It might take you 5 minutes or it may take you 50 minutes. You just don't know sometimes. But your lunchtime is really a great time to learn and to get better. Get great mentoring, I think, is another powerful thing. Visit other dental offices or visit other orthodontic offices. You'll be surprised what you can learn from your colleagues and your friends. Okay. And steal shamelessly from them. Please do. I cannot tell you, I've had many orthodontists to my office over the years, and it's always a great time. Come for a day or two. Love to have you. Realize that dentistry is a people business. Okay, it's all about relationships and building those relationships. And again, that ties into playing the long game, right? And, we have relationships with our patients. We have relationships with our team. We have relationships in our community. We have relationships with other professionals and other specialists, right? And that's what it's all about. Okay. Another thing I would say is create balance in your life. Okay, create that balance. Myself, I'm good at kind of putting things in different blocks. So I have my personal life, okay, and what I would call my relationship life, okay, where you're trying to make your relationships better with others. I have my spiritual life, where I'm working on my relationship with our Heavenly Father. I also You want to work on your business life. Okay, so that's another little component where you're working on your business and your profession. And then you have your physical life, where you're working on your body. And I'll say a special thing about that. I've seen many of my colleagues over the last 30 years that have had terrible physical problems because they do not take care of their body. So start early, start often. Get up, go for a walk, get to the gym, do something active every day, because you don't want to end up with like carpal tunnel or back problems or neck problems and things like that. It will extend the longevity of your career significantly. Um, find things that make you can make a difference in, make a difference in other people's lives every day. If somebody's having a bad day, make it a good day. One of your team members is having a not so good day, make it a good day. And that's a choice that you make every day. So every day I come into my office, I want to put my fingerprint on somebody's life. And one of the great joys for me, having done this for like 29 years, is I'm treating the kids of the kids. Okay, where I have the kids that I treated, and they're bringing their kids in, and hopefully I'll do this for another 10 years. I'll be doing the kids of the kids of the kids. So there you go. But that's a great feeling. Um, and then, what is your legacy going to be? I think that's a question we need to ask ourselves. You know, where do we always, my mom used to say something, we always want to leave our sandbox better than where we found it, right? And so, how are you going to what's the legacy for your patients? And what's the legacy for your team? And what's the legacy for your business? And what's the legacy for your profession? So I think another great pearl. So those would be some highlights or some things that I could share.
I love those. I think that, I mean, you have such a great way with words. I feel like I need to record your voice so I can have, a morning kind of devotional or just to hear yourself to get ready for the day. Just to say some positive affirmations is what we call them. Just really, really awesome things that you have shared. One thing that stuck out to me is balance. Finding balance in the unbalance, of our career and our profession can be very, very difficult. What would your advice be to find that balance in your life?
Well, I think one of the first things you have to realize that things are out of kilter or out of balance, right? And if you're 30 pounds overweight, you might want to think about something, right? If your business is horrible, okay, you might want to think about that. If you don't have a relationship with our Heavenly Father, that's a choice we make, okay? And our family, okay, all the relationships we have with our kids and with our wives and our other family members, that's that's paramount. And so in my life, it goes God, family, and everything else, okay? And so you need to know what your priorities are, and you need to. I think we all need to strive with our balance. And I'm not saying that everything's going to be in perfect balance all the time, okay? But we need to strive for that. And there's going to be sometimes you're going to be working really hard, and there's going to be sometimes you're going to be spending a lot of time with your family and all of the above. But it's trying to create that balance. Just being aware of it will help you create something. But then it's a mindset too. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? How am I going to spend my time? Okay, so.
Out of curiosity, if you could go back in time for your professional life, what is one thing that you wish you could change?
That is a great question. That is a really great question. Um, so let's start. Let me start with something that I wouldn't change. How about that? Can I switch that around a little bit? So if you think about this for a second, I worked in the concrete construction business for 8 years. And if my mindset was I can't be a dentist or I'm not good enough to do this, okay? That wasn't my mindset at all. My mindset was this is what I'm going to do. And I took the lessons that I learned in the construction business and I actually applied it to what I do every day in the dental business. And let me give you an example about that. For example, I learned how to run a crew and work with people and talk to people. I learned how to keep a schedule. I learned how to look at things in 3D and looking with the end product in mind. Okay. I learned how to budget things and run a business. Okay. I learned how to pay taxes. I learned how to sell and how to keep my customers happy so they would be repeat customers. And so, I hope you don't mind me switching that up a little bit, but that would be just one thing. So if I would have said, I'm not good enough, I'm going to quit, that's not good enough. That wouldn't fly. And the same thing when maybe I had a problem with my chemistry class like 3 or 4 times, which I really did. And I could have, am I gonna be a gritty person? Am I gonna have grit or am I gonna quit? It's a choice that you make, right? So I decided to carry on and go forward. So But those would be just two examples. Third one I could probably throw out there would be fear. Okay. And we all have fear in our life. Okay. If we're really honest about it, but it's how we face that fear. And we need to face the giants in our life. Okay. And, do our best that we can. And when we face things head on, our obstacles head on, we can turn things around and get that confidence to go further and go better. But you don't want to be a quitter. I think we give up too easy. Too many people give up way too easy these days for different things that they're doing, whether it's going to dental school or hygiene school, or, they're going to start their own business or whatever they're going to do. So
I have truly enjoyed our conversation today, and I'm sure that our listeners will as well too. And if our listeners would like to connect with you, or perhaps would like some more positive affirmations for their life, where can they find you and how can they contact you?
They're welcome to contact me at Dr. Guelff at yahoo.com on my email address. That'd be great.
Dr. Guelff, thank you so much for your time. And I wish you the best of holidays, and hopefully that we will cross paths in person at some point.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for having me today.
Are you ready to level up your patient experience? Be sure to visit wellreceived.com/IgniteDDS to find out how you can master patient communication and offer exceptional service 24/7, 365 days a year, while getting valuable time back to focus on growing your practice. Thank you for tuning in to our conversation with Dr. Guelff. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you will tune in to future episodes of Dental Fuel. Please be sure to check out Lori's Light and the Guelff Family Esophageal Project. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Dental Fuel and at IgniteDDS.